Back at it again with another Player Spotlight show. I am your host, Chris Shanafel. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. We are bringing you the names that you need to know first for the 2018 NFL Draft. We've been doing it since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. And here's a name that has been on the radar for the past couple of years now, and I still don't think enough people are really, too familiar with it, and that's Alec Kocour, the safety out of Illinois State University. Alec, we really appreciate you taking some time this evening. How's everything going?
Oh, it's going well. Appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. The pleasure's all mine. You're already the third Redbird to come onto the show. And again, we're very early in the NFL draft process. So I don't want people to think that I have some sort of Redbird bias here, Alec, but I'm happy to have you join us. And I was also able to have onto the show fellow defensive backs, Shane Glass, and that was a couple days ago, and then about a month or so ago, I had Devontae Harris on. We'll start off right there, Alec. I mean, talk about the special talent you've been able to play with on the defensive side of the ball, specifically within the secondary.
Oh, yeah, I've had pleasure for 4 years coming in and playing with two great safeties, really, and two great corners. My freshman year with Shane Glass, really learning from behind them, and then our sophomore year, really, me and Shane took over, and we had to play, and Devontae played as well. And us three really kind of just bonded, and throughout the next 3 years, we kind of just were on a different level. We kind of knew what each other were going to do and just communicated without communicating. We just kind of knew, and we were on the same page all the time. So it really helped us out a lot.
And just like Devontae and Shane, Alec, you were one of, I believe, 5 freshmen who were able to see some playing time in the 2014 FCS National Championship game against Carson Wentz and the North Dakota State Bison. Although you were on the losing end of it, I honestly, to this day, I still can't believe it. I'm sure there's a little bit of a rough spot there for you guys actually playing in that game as well. But although you guys were on the losing end of that game, what was it like to be a part of, one of the most exciting championship games ever seen? I'll go that far. It was one of the more exciting championship football games to have been played.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was very exciting. I mean, just going down there, the whole experience. I mean, I noticed myself just taking a step back a few times, just kind of taking it all in. Not even the game, but like before, just all the events we did, and like playing football with like children with special needs and all that stuff. Just everything was a great experience, and then especially the game, just it was one of a kind, really.
I know a lot of NFL players, more so when their career is over with, they'll always say, early on, if they're able to play in the Super Bowl, they always thought that they'd be able to get back to that point. Is that the same case kind of as a college athlete playing in a national championship game your freshman or sophomore year? Did you think that there's no way you guys wouldn't be back in that game?
No, I mean, every year, obviously, that's the main goal, but I mean, my freshman year, I knew we had great talent, but then every year I feel like we just seemed to fill the talent, and we always had a great team, but I mean, you really have to have 22 players on each side of the ball, plus some really good special teams everywhere around that to make it that far, and we weren't really lucky to my last 3 seasons, but...
Well, just to make it out of the Missouri Valley alone is a big enough challenge, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a bit. Alec, Brock Spack, your head coach over at Illinois State, he's arguably the highest thought of college football coach in the state of Illinois. You can probably throw in Northwestern's Pat Fitzgerald in the mix as well. What's it been like playing for Coach Spack over the years, and how much has he and some of the other coaches meant to the success that you've seen over the years as a Redbird?
Yeah, our whole coaching staff did a great job, really, on the defensive side of the ball. I worked mainly with like Coach Nowinski, our defense coordinator, and then D-Ty and Keenan Hall, our defense backs coach. And Keenan Hall was really always a player's coach who's like upbeat and really gets you hyped up and ready to go for practice, which is a really good thing that kind of I needed, because some days I catch myself not really in the mood to practice, and he would always really make sure I was always trying to reach my full potential every day of practice and everything. So, I mean, our whole staff has really just always tried making us better every day. So it was great.
And I know Keenan Hall, he recently accepted a new position. Was it? Am I wrong? The running backs coach now?
Yeah, he's the running backs coach now.
How do you feel about that? Any shout outs to Keenan Hall? Any congratulatory words for him?
Oh yeah, congratulations. I mean, that's awesome. I was gonna miss him on the defensive side of the ball, but anything to move you up. I mean, now he's on the offensive side, so he's a lot more diverse now and everything. And I know Mike Banks will do a good job with the defensive backs as well now, so it'll be
Yeah,
good.
yeah, absolutely. Former Redbird cornerback there, Mike Banks, like you said, now working with the defensive backs, getting a gig there with the Redbirds back there in Normal, Illinois. Alec, looking back at your Redbird career, I mean, what are some of the memories you're going to be thinking of 10, 15 years down the line? What are going to be some of the first things to pop in into your mind when looking back at your Illinois State football career?
The main thing is really the bond I've made with the people on the team. I mean, I can't. They came in as being like my team members, but I mean, they're leaving my brothers. I mean, those are guys that are going to be like at my wedding one day, and like I'm going to be friends with them for the rest of my life. So, I mean, that's the main thing I'm really going to take from this whole experience. I mean, yeah, football, but like I'm a student athlete, and like really just the relationships I built was the main thing.
And now your collegiate football career is officially over. You're now working towards continuing your football career at the professional level. In doing that, you have to get ready for a pro day for the combine. I mean, where are you currently training at for your pro day?
I'm training next level. It's in Mequon, Wisconsin, and it's run by Brad Arnett and Matt Gifford. It's where the Watts trained as well.
Okay. Any specific goals, any specific numbers written down that you would like to hit come pro day?
Yeah, I have some big numbers. I'm not going to share anything right now, but I think people are going to be somewhat surprised at some of the numbers that I'll be able to hopefully put up.
Okay, all right, and again, we already talked about some of the talent Illinois State has had, specifically just this past season on the defensive side of the ball. Actually, I see we have Devontae Harris tuning in right now, commenting on the stream, so appreciate that. A former teammate of yours that'll meet you at the next level as well. Have you been able to meet with any NFL scouts, any professional scouts? I know they've been in and out of Illinois State University over the last few years. Do you have any idea how the NFL might view you as of right now, January 24th, just over 3 months away from the NFL draft?
Yeah, from what I've been hearing and everything, I've played in quite a few games. I played in 40 games. So, I mean, they're not really questioning if I just kind of the question is the top end speed, really, I think, is what everyone is wondering how fast I really am. So, I mean, that's really what I've been just working on is trying to show people that I'm faster than probably I seem or play, but I think that also helps with like my football IQ. Just helps me be in the spot early enough where I don't really have to open up ever, or
How'd you start playing the safety position? I mean, was this a position that, and doing some research, this was a position that you played in high school, so it's not like you showed up day one at Illinois State and was completely thrown off guard, I got to think. But at the collegiate level, we always see guys switching positions, whether it's offense to defense, defense to offense, or just a totally different defensive or offensive position. Anyways, how did you kind of staple yourself as a safety at the collegiate level?
I was really only recruited at the FCS level for defense or safety. Some other D1 schools want me to walk on at like maybe a slot receiver, but I kind of always knew that I liked defense more. I just enjoyed kind of tackling people. I don't know, really. Just always being able to be around the ball and stuff. And so I really just kind of focused on being a safety, working on it, and that's where I got it.
Well, it's one of the more physical positions in all of football, and you see it here in your highlights that we're playing. Just like a big hit in the end zone against the South Dakota State receiver to force the ball out of his hands and to avoid points being scored on the board. Now, Alec, we talked about the pro day. We talked a little bit about the draft process. It's one of the more important decisions you're going to have to make when it comes to this professional level, and that's the whole agent process. Who did you end up signing with, and exactly how did that process all come about?
Yeah, I signed with Justin Van Volpen. He's out of Detroit. And really, it kind of just panned out to who I felt most comfortable with. And he was always texting me on game days or throughout the week, kind of just like, "Good luck. How you feeling this week?" I kind of just always knew that like he really cared, so I ended up signing with him.
Shout out to Justin Van Fulpen. I had no idea you signed with him, and he and I have been connected for quite a few years now. And yeah, I mean, I have nothing but great things to say about him. So congratulations on that. And again, in my opinion, one of the best in the industry. So that's awesome. That's really great to hear. Again, you guys are tuned into the NFL Draft Bible Player Spotlight Show. I am your host, Chris Shanfeld, talking with Alec Kocour, the defensive back, 2018 NFL draft prospect out of Illinois State. A name you're going to need to know, especially within the next couple of months leading up to the NFL draft. And Alec, chances are you're probably going to have to make a name for yourself on special teams first. Before you get a chance to start and get an opportunity on defense, unless you're thrown into an unusual circumstance. But again, chances are special teams will probably be the go-to for you initially. How do you feel about that aspect of the game, the special teams aspect, and do you think that could be a place for you that you could fit into right away?
Oh yeah, really, any place, any way I can get on the field, I'm going to work for and work at, whether it's special teams or playing on defense or whatever. But I mean, after signing day or everything in April, when you sign with the team, I mean, that's not going to be the end of it until hopefully end up making the 53-man roster.
Right, yeah, that's the ultimate goal for sure. If you're able to recommend one game for an NFL scout to go back and watch throughout your entire career, and I know there's been a few of them, a few great ones, probably hard to choose for you, Alec. Which one game would you choose for an NFL scout to go back and watch?
I would probably say North Dakota State my junior year would be the number one game, probably.
Okay, and why is that? I mean, was it just because you're all over the field making plays? Was there a specific play that really stood out that you'd like for them to see, or why is that?
I would just say I think I played just an overall great game. I think I had ended up with 14 tackles, and just throughout the game, it shows I was covering people, and then like have a ball really completed. It shows me running, opening up a little bit, and just kind of all around a good game. So I think that's probably one of my top games.
Okay, and again, your highlights are still rolling through. Playing at Illinois State, Alec. I mean, playing in one of the toughest divisions in all the country, regardless of FCS, FBS, whatever. The Missouri Valley is one of the toughest there is. You got North Dakota State, Youngstown State, South Dakota State, and so on and so on. You could literally just keep on going with the teams that are just loaded with talent in that conference. And it's proven over the years that it is the toughest and best conference in the FCS. And again, one of the top conferences in all of the country, regardless of the level of competition. Was there ever, or who would you say is the one guy that you knew if this team was on your schedule, you had to look out for, you had to take account for? Was there a specific maybe quarterback, running back, tight end, receiver, whatever it may be? Was there a specific player on an opposing team that you knew heading into that week you had to take notes on?
This year or like throughout my 4 years?
We could go throughout your whole 4 years.
I mean, every year there's great people on every team, but throughout my 4 years, I'd probably bring it down to obviously every day in practice I had to go against Marshawn Copperich and Trey Robertson. They're two of the greatest I've ever played with. But I'd say my true freshman year when I had to play Cooper Kupp and David Johnson in the playoffs. They were both very, very, very great players. So that was probably two of the best players I've played.
Hey, two guys that went on to be NFL draft picks and now certainly proving their case at the next level. It's not a fluke that they've got. They were able to hear their name called. They've produced in the NFL and are now couple of the best in the league, probably. I mean, Cooper Kupp still early on, just finishing his rookie season, but David Johnson, he's certainly highly regarded, and I think Cooper Kupp is the same way. Now, you brought it up yourself, Alec. I mean, early on in your Redbird career, you would go up against probably the top offense in the nation. I mean, you guys had quarterback Trey Roberson, running back Marshawn Coppers, tight end James O'Shaughnessy, just wrapped up a playoff game with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wide receivers Cam Meredith and Anthony Warren. I mean, I'm sure you have stories about those guys beating you in practice, and I'm sure they have some stories about you getting the best of them as well. How did going up against some of that elite All-American talent day in and day out help you grow as a player in the long run?
I really think that helped me freshman year, being able to play against those guys, because I think sophomore year was one of my best. I ended up playing in the NFL that next year, and every day I was just going against them, and especially Shag and Cam, working on that, like with them every day. So it was really good experience working with each other and pushing each other.
Well, Alec, as I was preparing for this interview, I see coming out of Catholic Memorial High School, you're a semifinalist for the Jim Leonard Award, which is given to the top senior defensive back in the state of Wisconsin coming out of high school. Before I even knew that, I thought Jim Leonard. That was literally the first name that popped into my mind when watching some of your film, when watching some of your highlights. So I thought that was an amazing coincidence. Who are some guys that you like to watch and take bits and pieces of their game and add it onto your own?
I really just like to watch really any safety. I mean, obviously Harrison Smith is one of my favorite. I followed him since he was at Notre Dame. But any safety, I'll be watching the game and I'll just kind of just watch either strong or free safety and kind of just pick up on a few things they do and just make a play, get excited for them or miss one, and kind of be like, you got to be making that. It's really when I watch football games, I kind of just really watch the safeties, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't blame you. Blame you. I mean, I'm sure if I played the game and I whatever position I would play, I'd probably pay most attention to that position as well. Final question for you, and that is a question I wrap up all these interviews with, and that is, let's say we have all 32 NFL general managers tuned into this very interview, Alec, and give them a reason why they should want Alec Kocour, the safety out of Illinois State, a part of their organization. What are you going to do to help them become a better team overall?
I think I bring some great leadership, work ethic, and I mean, I'm always just working. I think my IQ and just know for the game, love of the game, just kind of always, I might not have the best measurables or like the biggest measurables, but I always find a way to be in the right spot at the right time. And so that's probably my biggest reason right there.
All right, Alec Kocour, defensive back out of Illinois State University. Again, one of these names are really flying under the radar right now, but I think come closer to draft day, draft weekend, certainly day 3, and maybe even after the draft, who knows? I think this is going to be a name that you certainly need to know, and he will be in a camp somewhere near you. Alec, really appreciate you taking some time this evening. Wishing you all the best. Any final words?
No, just thank you for tuning in, and I appreciate your time.